the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money. We're live in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Busy hour coming up in 15 minutes. We'll go over projected Week 1 starters in the NFL and organizational grades across the league. A lot of Fs on this list. Matt Youmans on the program.
There's some F minuses.
Okay, even better.
How do you get that grade? A lot of pissed off people, right? I give you an F minus.
So these are players?
Yes.
Who grade their own organization?
Yes.
Wow.
Woody Johnson got an F from Jet Players as an owner. F. F.
Good. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Matt Youmans in 30 minutes. Best bets in college basketball tonight. I wanted to mention this. There is some breaking news in the NBA regarding tonight's schedule. Jaylen Brown has been ruled out for the Celtics, and they are playing in Detroit tonight. Moments ago, Kristaps Porzingis deemed eligible to play tonight, available to play in this game. Boston hovering around a 4.5-point favorite. Total now down to 225.5. No good to me. I bet over 226.5 earlier. We like the Pistons +5 on the show as well. It's the third game in 4 nights for the Celtics in a back-to-back. And they are like 500 on the year, ATS in this spot. And the Pistons are 9-6-1 as a home dog. Been pretty good throughout the entire year.
Yep. Great story. See if they keep it going. Yep. And we'll see what happens with some other guys who are questionable tonight, too.
Sure. College basketball, very busy card. Mentioned this throughout the show today. Duke and Auburn are off the board to be a 1 seed. I guess you can't make the odds high enough. Like the book is actually telling you, this is at FanDuel, they're kind of telling you that they're locked to get a 1 seed. Houston has the strongest odds right now to be a 1. They are minus 550, Pauly, in that market. I think a lot of that obviously is based on Florida losing last night.
And more losses are coming. They figure to play each other, too, because you got the SEC tournament coming up. But, as Dallin Cuff said, that's too high. Maybe he's right, after what Jerry Palm said on Monday. Could win out, and it still might not be enough. But
I think they have to get him if they win out.
Yeah. All right, you lost to Alabama, and you lost to San Diego State in the non-con. If you go 19-1 in this league, which still might get 8 teams in, 9 teams in, and then win the conference tournament as well, or make a deep run there, I got to give it to you.
Yeah, DraftKings also posted this. I heard Matt Grill, one of the leading traders over at DK, on with Youmans and Von Tobel following us last night at VSiN Primetime. They put up an SEC versus the field prop to win the whole thing. SEC was plus 120. Dallin Cuff, ESPN an hour ago, said he would take the plus money. I would too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you're going to get every other conference obviously in the field, but the conference with the by far strongest path to actually get there would be the SEC, based on they might get 3 number 1s. If not, how many 1, 2s, and 3s are they going to get combined overall? So in theory, the easiest path to get there, and the best overall teams anyway in that league. I thought it would have been Pick'em at worst, and I actually would have probably made the SEC a small favorite there.
Yeah.
Biggest threats out of that, not in the SEC, would be Duke and Houston by a mile probably. And then how much do you trust the Big Ten?
I don't.
There you go.
And it's also your question going back about, is this a little Gonzaga with Duke? You haven't really, you blew out Illinois, but you lost to Clemson. How many tough opponents are you going to have?
Sure.
They play because you're in such a lousy league. So that's also difficult to answer what happens with Duke. But who knows? Maybe they make a deep run. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of shockers. And so we always see some upsets and the team come out of nowhere to surprise people.
And FanDuel also flipped the favorite in the Wooden Award market today.
Yeah, this is getting good.
Yeah, right. So Broom's now minus 125 there in that neighborhood. Flag around minus 105, I believe. Other spots still have Flag. I think it was ESPN bet earlier. It was, in fact, that had Flag minus 135. Broom, even money, but he has gained ground now significantly, I think, in the last couple of weeks.
Well, how much is it he's putting up ridiculous numbers, but his opponents night in, night out are ranked, and Duke's laying 19, 22.
I think it has to be. I think that's a huge part of it, right?
It's like what Cuff said, too. It's not who the best NBA player is going to be. It's who the best player is in college basketball, and Cuff is getting pulled, Fly's getting pulled because they're blowing people out, and you're not seeing them, and it's like, well, why am I watching this game? Duke's up 30.
Yeah,
all good points.
I mean, think about this for a second, Pauly. Duke is 6-3 in quad 1 games. Auburn's 14-2.
God.
I mean, there's absolutely no
Staggering.
comparison.
Yeah, that's staggering.
And then, based on their schedule, they're playing Ole Miss tonight. They're a huge favorite. And who do they have? Kentucky on Saturday?
Yep.
It doesn't end in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
Are they laying too many points tonight? They're laying
Yeah.
now down to 12.5 here at Circa.
Yeah, I think that's too much. It was too much. And you got Kentucky, you got A&M, and you got Bama to close the regular season for
Oh,
Auburn.
boy.
So we'll see. Just survive in advance, win by 11, good enough for the team. On to Saturday for the showdown against Kentucky. That's good enough for them. I think that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
I loved San Diego State. I like Boise State tonight, although it's up to 4.5. It's the same handicap and same scenario. I'm with Dallin too on Oklahoma plus the 3. But you have a team that's a 9 seed right now currently with Utah State. You got a team at Boise, tough at home, needs it like blood. Just saw the same thing play out last week where they were laying a bigger number against New Mexico and ran them out in the second half. They're in the mix right now for an at-large. Could really make a strong case and get in if they run the table and win a couple games in the tournament. And Utah State also goes to Colorado State on Saturday. I think Boise wins and they cover. That's my late game pick, and I think they're going to get it done again. And then and we'll see how much they move up if they get in to the final last 4 in or first 4 out, how that works. That's a good game coming up with a good home court advantage, which is a big deal, and it means a lot. These home courts in college basketball are huge.
Yes, they are.
Your buddy Gottlieb years ago said one of the toughest things to do in all of sports is win a road conference game in college athletics. And BYU has to go to Arizona State. 4.5 now. You've won 4 in a row. A lot of people are talking about you, rightfully so. You went from last 4 in to 8 seed. First time since '88 you win back-to-back games against ranked opponents. Now you had the huge win at Arizona. You're stuck out there, too, I would imagine. I don't think did they go home? Maybe they did. But now you're playing Arizona State, short turnaround. I don't like the spot. And we'll see if Arizona State surprises them. But I'll tell you, I watched that game. BYU gets tremendous looks. And that coach he was the associate head coach at the Suns. You must be paying him a nice chunk of cash at BYU, but you got that kid coming in next year, the number 1 recruit, all the money they're paying him. The stuff they run out of timeouts is exquisite. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. So that could be the one thing that scares me, that they're well coached, but don't really like the spot tonight for BYU. Maybe a letdown coming.
No, I don't like the spot either. I thought about this like last night into this morning, playing moneyline parlays tonight, spreading across college basketball and the NBA. And I love the form that they're in. You can't deny what they've done here in recent games, like you talked about. I can't get there with them tonight. I'm not going to play them any way whatsoever. Mm-hmm. On the road scares me for a lot of these teams, so I'm not going to get there with BYU in this game. I like Texas at Arkansas tonight. I like the Razorbacks to win this game. I'm looking at projections here. They're laying about 3.5 in this spot.
Huge.
I'm seeing Arkansas by as many as 8 amongst the 5 different sets of projections that I look at. And now they're actually down to 2.5 here at Circa. Man, money coming in on Texas. I like the other side. They're minus 270 to make the tournament as of right now.
It's going to be wild to see what these brackets look like with these expanded conferences. The ACC is just a mess. I know a lot of people are upset about it already. But what these brackets are going to look like in 16, 8, 17 teams in a conference.
Well, you're going to be getting SEC teams playing each other in the second round, and I hate that. But
I was talking about conference tournaments.
Oh, conference tournaments.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
But with what that looks like. So yeah, Arkansas, maybe that's too low. I don't know. But if you win this game, you probably jump up out of the last 4 in.
I would think so.
Then who do you match up with? Because the conference is so deep. Who do you match up with your first conference tournament game?
Yep.
Which if you take a loss there. Are you going against Kentucky?
Oh, I like Oklahoma.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like them plus a 3 tonight. Kentucky, battling an injury still.
Yep.
And again, this is another team where I would trust them much more at home. They're not perfect at home, but they are far from perfect on the road, and I like them much more in a spot where they would be at home. Oklahoma's 4-10. You're not going to play desperate teams just because they're desperate, because that's not a cash cow, and that's too simple of a handicap on a game because they lose in those spots all the time. But I do like with that point spread tonight. Like, I'm not playing Oklahoma a pick. I get 3 points at home.
Yeah,
sure, I'll take that. So that'll be one of my bets that we have coming up a little bit later on in the hour.
All right. Not the best card. A lot better than tomorrow.
Well, a lot of ranked
But
teams
still,
in action.
Yeah, sure.
You know, are you there with Palm,
job.
Maryland? He bet him -3.5.
It's popular. That's the one concern I have.
Well, so the number has been toggling back and forth. It got as high as 5 earlier today.
That shouldn't put you off a game, though. I mean, we did this while you were on vacation. Richie Baccelleri kind of bet-shamed Palm that because it was the UCLA-Indiana game. He goes, yeah, UCLA's a square side. Well, they got there. They got the money. I mean, that just because it's popular doesn't mean it doesn't cash.
Oh no, like
I mean,
a lot of these, especially like a lot of like the late moves have been pretty good. Maryland's actually back down to 3.5 now at some spots. So it reached, I think, that point where the market said 5 can't be. No way.
Yep.
They took it and eliminated that number, and I don't see it anywhere.
Yeah, we got Maryland fans tweeting in that they don't trust him and they like Sparty. But the other thing is, it's huge from that Stanford Steve bet. He gave out 18-1 last time on the show to win a conference. They win this game, they're right there. They're right there to win the league. And that ticket, I think they were like plus 350 going into today.
I think if Maryland wins this game tonight, don't they turn into like the short shot on the board to win the Big Ten?
Right there with Michigan, yeah.
Yeah. This is why I did this when you were out on Friday. Wisconsin was going to win this.
Yeah.
They were going to win the Big Ten, and they blew the Oregon game, and I got a nickel on them at 20-1.
Is that right?
I wanted to vomit on Saturday watching that game.
They were that high?
I got them early on in the year.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
We will get into projected Week 1 starters and organizational grades in the NFL up next. A lot of Fs, even F minuses out there.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
VSiN host Matt Youmans coming up in 15 minutes. His best bets in college basketball tonight, followed by in-pocket plays, how we are approaching the board as well. What are you looking at with projected Week 1 starters in the NFL?
Cam Ward to the Giants. Don't agree? ESPN.com has their predictions. What could happen?
So going third overall in the draft, or are they trading up to get him?
They didn't get into it. Sanders going 6 to the Raiders. Interesting development. What's going on with Stafford?
What do the Raiders do at 6 if Brady talks Stafford into coming here? Do they
Got to be defense.
Well, I was going to say, do they get nuts and go Genty like some are projecting?
I don't know about that.
I don't think so either.
It was terrible. I just happened to run into you at a ski resort. Thanks to the guy who sent in the ski resort information as well. But the representatives for Stafford are meeting with the Giants. Brady, according to reports, trying to get Stafford to Las Vegas. Rams come out. We're comfortable with Garoppolo. Oh, mama.
Oh, what a massive mistake that's going to be.
Right, but I understand Stafford saying, hey, I just won a Super Bowl. I just went into Philly. I almost had him beat. Could have won the game. And Cousins gets $46 million. Tua $50. All these. Look what these guys are making. I want my taste. Let me wet my beak.
Paul,
they're saying you've made enough. We can't pay you. We got cap issues. We love you, but we can't do it. Stafford's saying, bleep you, pay me.
It's the NFL. Like the salary cap is almost $300 million. Right? This is a team that sold their soul to win the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah.
By trading away everything and then locking in their star players to like massive deals. Thank goodness for them. They've drafted exceedingly well since then. But to me, if Stafford comes back and plays, that team can absolutely win the NFC next year. If they go from Stafford to somebody like Garoppolo or Aaron Rodgers, I'm not betting that team. I wouldn't even bet them to win their division.
Yeah. And I don't understand Stafford. I don't care, family, ties, whatever. Why would you go to the Giants? You're going to get killed. Carr to the Jets. Saints in salary cap hell. Fields to the Saints. Oh, boy. Tough start for Kellen Moore.
What do you make the Saints win total?
That's a low, yeah, that's troubling.
And are they the last place team in the NFC South, in fact, if they would make that move?
Yes. Cousins to Cleveland.
But that's a trade. How would that work?
Like Atlanta cuts him.
They cut him and then Cleveland signs him.
Yeah. Also, a guy was making the case that you trade Garrett.
Well, they're as of yesterday anyway, and they probably have to say all the right things, right? Their GM came out and said, we're holding strong. We are firm on this. Like, we are not going to be trading Myles Garrett. That's great to say, but unless Garrett changes his mind and he's like, dude, I'm not playing for you at all, I'll sit, no problem, then you're dumb if you don't trade the guy. I know that sucks to be in a spot like that. He is like a generational franchise defensive end, and if you can't have him any longer, really, really stinks, but you might have to suck it up and say, okay, what can we get for the guy? You can get a first-round pick for him today.
Yep. The big one is Darnold to Pittsburgh. I know Aaron Rodgers.
That doesn't do anything for me.
No.
Again, certain guys have to be in certain situations.
Yeah.
I would like Darnold back to Minnesota. I would like Darnold to San Francisco, for example. But consider again who he's going to be playing for and with in Pittsburgh. Tomlin as the head coach, but more importantly, who the offensive coordinator is and the pieces and the parts that he has around him to throw the ball to. That is not the same offense that we're talking about that we just watched in basically 15 out of 17 games last year with Minnesota. Look at that. Rams are 28-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're as good as anybody in the NFC if Stafford comes back. Hell, they're probably better than any team not named the Eagles. And as Mike Palm talked about last hour, another reason why I want nothing to do with the Lions this year, David Shaw is going to be part of the team, the passing game coordinator. It was all set up right there. They had everything in place this year. And then all the injuries had to unfortunately happen. Lost both coordinators now. Dan Campbell's going to be on his own. They had to replace both those guys. And this guy now, David Shaw, with that stank that he brings in from the final days of Stanford, no way. No thank you.
With good coaching, you can turn it around, though, and you can fix a quarterback. I know it didn't end well, but look what O'Connell did with Darnold. And remember how bad Goff was at the end of his tenure with the Rams.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of it was the contract and how bad he played in the Super Bowl. But his stock, people would get rid of Goff. He's terrible. He goes to Detroit. Wow. Look what he did. All right. This was good. Report cards. And they talked to players, and they were said to grade your organization. And Woody Johnson got an F. First time that's happened as owner of the Jets.
The first time an owner's ever gotten an F. Or him.
I believe Woody Johnson. You might be right on both counts, but Woody Johnson getting an F. You have treatment of families, food dining area, nutritionist, dietitian, locker room, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, team travel, head coach, ownership. Arizona Cardinals, treatment of families, D+. Food dining, D-. Locker room, F-. How bad? What?
Wow.
I mean, you are...
That's back-to-back years now, I think, for that team.
I think you're right. F-. There's a couple F- on here. How is your NFL franchise... Number one, how is your locker room that bad? Number two, how do you have a bad weight room? Training room, D-, weight room, F.
The stadium's not even that old.
What's going on over there? Bidwell.
That's incredible. That's ownership then, obviously.
Ownership, D-. That's nuts.
Boy, that's attractive for potential free agents, is it not?
Yeah. I will point out that the Atlanta Falcons and the Miami Dolphins got either an A+, A, or B+ in every category. Which is something.
I'm actually shocked about the Dolphins.
Okay.
Right, good for them. And I guess it makes sense because Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, right, with the prices that he was offering at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right?
Yep.
It was like a throwback to yesteryear.
Buffalo Bills, team travel, F-.
Team travel.
Cincinnati Bengals, treatment of families, F-. Food dining area, F.
Now, like, how does it compare to, like, a food dining area, like at a casino, for example?
EDR, yeah, I don't know.
It's probably still really good.
But you got to have, yeah.
They're also comparing this to, these are players on the team right now. They've also been with other organizations who probably have state-of-the-art everything. So is it really that big of a drop-off from evidently?
The Patriots players did that. They ripped Kraft for the team plane. They said it's old and it's the plane still, you got the ashtrays on it. They had an issue with it.
What?
And I know there was a big...
No Wi-Fi.
Yeah, right. One team lost their dietitian, and the guy went to Kansas City, and then there was an uptick there, and people were surprised and pissed off. Patriots, Treatment of families, C+. Food dining area, C. Locker room, C-. Training room, C-. Training staff, C+. Weight room, F. Team travel, there it is, F. Ownership, D. Kraft, going after you, buddy.
Wow.
Oh, brutal. Saints got some good grades as well. But food dining, D-. Like, what the hell are you doing? These guys are huge machines. Your body's a temple. You got to fuel that sucker. What are you giving them? Chicken strips and what? Come on.
Honestly, like every team in the league should be getting an A for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It should be the best of the best in the world.
This is fascinating.
Where do the Raiders rank?
High marks all across the board.
All across the board.
Yeah. Washington, locker room, F. Training room, C+. I was surprised by that. But yeah, Raiders.
You know what?
But the Miami killed it. I'm going to give you Miami. You're going to. Okay, here's Miami. This is no joke. A+, 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 A+. Win a playoff game.
Exactly.
Isn't that something? Ownership, A+.
Okay.
I know.
Good for them.
Head coach, A+. Oh, my God, he's got to have pictures of somebody.
Well, he's a player's coach.
Yeah.
They love that kind of thing.
Yeah, the Fangio thing.
Right.
Get him out of here. He's too hard on us. Team travel, A+. Strength and conditioning coach, A+. Weight room, A+. Training. Can it work? Can it translate to success on the field?
Oh, one would hope. Get some better play calling from that head coach, and
wow,
might be onto something there.
How mad do you have to be to put down an F-? Or how bad must things be? Can you think of anything that you've come across in the last couple of years in your life or something? That's an F-. I mean, F-? Just got to be horrendous.
I'm sure I could. Yeah, for sure, if I really thought about it.
Spirit Airlines?
No, my God, they used to be an F. They're an A. They're an A+ now.
They turned their game around?
They must have a brand new CEO.
Who screwed us on
You can eat. I've had to take them because of like flying Sebastian around. Like,
was that Frontier?
Their only game in town.
When we went to Scottsdale?
I could have eaten breakfast off the floor of these airplanes at Spirit.
Okay.
Blown away.
I thought they canceled a lot of flights.
Maybe. I think everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
Good for you. Turn it around. Sports betting never slows down. Neither should you. PGA Tour underway. Madness about to tip off. NBA, NHL. Opening day right around the corner. Betting guide tomorrow. $9.99. Get in. The daily email from Bill 80. Every best bet, every host, every guest. VSiN.com/subscribe. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Best bets in college hoops. Matt Youmans next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We will get to a lot of games tonight on the college basketball slate here as VSiN host Matt Youmans joins the program. He's not on primetime tonight, but typically on VSiN primetime for 4 hours. Following us right here on VSiN, and he's on the Progressive Guest line. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Doing great today, Mitch. Thanks for asking. And, we got one hell of a college hoops card tonight, pretty much every night for the next, month and a half.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Palm mentioned a couple things earlier before we get into the slate. We were discussing this Beyond the Booth promotion going on now at Circa, where you can go there, get a cabana, you can go to the website and click on it, watch games. Pauly and me will be out there as well. He also brought up that $5,000 could get somebody a golfing experience with you during the summer when it's really hot. Would you do it?
First of all, I want to know, is Paul Howard going to drink in these cabana parties? Because the last time we were out there, we had to twist his arm to get him to have one drink. Are you going to drink, Pauly?
100%. And I'll do shots.
You will?
Yes.
I might even come out for that, okay? I tell you what, I would not allow anyone. I don't think there's a person on the face of the earth that would want to pay $5,000 to golf with me. I would not allow it. I think Mike Palm was probably joking when he mentioned Mike Palm's got a great sense of humor, so I'm sure he's joking about that. But I'll tell you what would be worth it. And I just thought of this since you brought it up about 10 years ago. This is when we were all working at ESPN Radio here in Las Vegas. This is right before, 2 years before VSiN started. I played in the Larry Flint's Hustler Club golf tournament here in Vegas. And we each got assigned a girl who rode with us for 18 holes. And on the second hole of the tournament, the girls got butt naked and played with us the rest of the way. That might be worth $5,000 if we could replicate that.
There you go.
You probably could. Get to work on that, Matt. I think we can.
God.
I think Bill 80 would love to probably put a package together with something like that.
The second hole. Wow. Oh. Good.
Oh.
God bless you.
One other thing Mike Paul mentioned tonight. His favorite game on the board is Maryland minus 3.5. Do you concur with that?
I do. By the way, one of the girls that was with us said they moved in with me for about 6 months a week after that tournament. I did play Maryland, and this is a good spot. This is a good spot to play the Terps. They're still in contention to get a share of the Big Ten championship here. They got two big-time players in Derek Queen and Julian Reese. And I think Michigan State's played big game after big game after big game, and this will probably be a spot where you can catch the Spartans a little bit flat tonight on the road. Plus, Maryland has been really the last couple of years been lights out at home. And I did play the Terps on the money line, and I did also bet them a little bit at -3 tonight. I think this is one of those games where you get the slight home favorite that's more desperate, that really needs this win. And Michigan State is, I do think, going to be probably a little bit flat tonight because they've had so many big games in the last couple of weeks.
Can St. John's keep it going against Butler?
You know what? Here's what you got to be concerned about with St. John's. And I listened to Rick Pitino talk after the St. John's UConn game on Sunday, and he said Kadari Richmond, their star guard, transfer from Seton Hall, has got 2 groin injuries, and he's really limited, and he needs a couple weeks off. Now, I don't know. I was trying to check the injury report today to see if he was going to play, because a lot of times Pitino will say something that have to be BS. But I do think by watching Kadari Richmond, he probably is somewhat injured, and he's not going to play maybe in this Butler game because St. John's got so many bigger games up on the schedule that this might be a spot where they can rest him tonight. And I know sharp money's been flooding in the market on Butler, and our buddy Chris Massero from San Diego made a bold prediction last night that the fans are going to be storming the court at Hinkle Fieldhouse tonight.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but I do think St. John's, if Richmond doesn't play, is going to be a fragile favorite tonight, and Butler could be a live dog. I consider playing it, but I missed the best number and decided not to play this tonight.
Yeah, I see the Johnnies right now down to 5.5 at some spots. So, but yeah, the best number's absolutely gone at this point. I have gone back and forth on the Ohio State USC game several times today. I still have not pulled the trigger on a bet with this game. Do you have an opinion here between the Buckeyes and the Trojans?
I did play this last night, Ohio State plus 1.5, and it's the travel angle in the Big Ten that you got to watch here because what happened with UCLA and USC when they get on the road in these long road trips to the Midwest and the East Coast so often. And I watched USC at Rutgers on Sunday afternoon. And that USC defense allowed 95 points to Rutgers. And meanwhile, the Buckeyes who played UCLA were just sitting in L.A. waiting for USC to come back. So the Buckeyes have been there, don't have the travel to worry about. Eric Musselman was complaining a lot like Mick Cronin did a couple weeks ago about the travel concerns for the West Coast teams in the Big Ten. So USC's traveling back from New Jersey in the Rutgers game where it looked like it was a tired USC team that allowed 95 points. And now they're catching Ohio State, which is a capable offensive team. Ohio State's a roller coaster team. You just got to figure out when it's going to be up and when it's going to be down with the Buckeyes. And I think the Buckeyes are going to be up tonight. I played this Ohio State plus 1.5 tonight. I like Ohio State to win this game at USC. And it looks like, you look for teams that are fading late in the season. It looks like USC is a fading team.
You covered this league a long time. The home courts are very valuable and important in the Mountain West. Boise up to 4.5. What do you think of the game tonight at home to Utah State in a game the Broncos have to have?
Yeah, I go back to January 11th, and I played Boise as a 5-point underdog at Utah State. I think 5 or 5.5. And Boise should have won the game.
Yeah. Had
the lead in the final minute and fell apart in the final minute. Utah State's got a tough home court there. Utah State pulled that game out, by 81-79 in early January. Boise, if you look at the home road splits, and you got to do this in college basketball, because if you look at Kansas, that's a team that's top 15 in offensive efficiency at home and about number 215 on the road. And Boise's very similar in the Mountain West. This is a very capable offensive team, very high-level offensive team at home. Same with the defense, and very poor on the road. So Boise's got some really stark home road splits. I do like Boise in this game. I think it's similar to Mitch, the game we talked about last Wednesday when New Mexico was at Boise, right? And we were on Boise in that spot, and the number got inflated in a betting market, and it turned out to be right. Boise won the game in a runaway, so you didn't have to worry about the inflated number. This number is getting a little bit up there tonight where I don't want to recommend it at this point, but I think, this is another one I played, and I would say right now, play Boise on the money line. This is a home team where the game means a lot more to the Broncos. They need this one, similar to San Diego State last night. I was on the Aztecs last night. They needed that game. New Mexico really didn't. And the Aztecs pretty much let it wire to wire. I could see Boise with a similar effort tonight. But again, it's gotten to the point where the number's a little bit inflated, and I don't want to touch it here. By the way, Boise's 6-1 in the last 7 games. So this team's playing at a pretty high level. That one loss was a blowout loss, but it was on the road at San Diego State.
Yep, there you go. Wrapping it up here with Matt Youmans, VSiN host, hitting the college basketball card tonight. Do you have a bet yet on Indiana, Penn State?
I played Indiana. I just threw it on a money line parlay, but I got to tell you, this is a tricky spot. I really don't like the Hoosiers here. We're off the big win over Purdue.
Yeah,
it was an emotional game on Sunday. They put a lot into that game, and you got to be a little bit leery of a team like that. The spot after a big win, and that might have been Indiana's biggest win of the season, is either that or at Michigan State. So a lot of times you don't want to play a team off that big win. The Hoosiers 3-8 in their last 11. And I think you'd probably see them come out a little bit hungover emotionally in the first half tonight and probably get off to a slow start. I don't think it's going to be easy. I didn't feel like laying the points. I did put Indiana on a money line parlay, and I paired that up with Boise. That was one of the pairs I put it with was Boise tonight.
There's no Thiero tonight for Arkansas. They're down to 2.5 against Texas. How much do you think he means overall to the team and to this game tonight?
I'm not quite sure about that. And I know Wes Reynolds was on Texas at the good number, and Arkansas is off the big win over Missouri. And this is when I decided I opted not to play. I'll tell you what, there are big games every night in the SEC. It's crazy how good this league is, top to bottom. You're going to find some scheduling spots that you can't resist. And, one tough matchup. I was looking tonight at Ole Miss and Auburn. How tempting is it to take 13 points with Chris Beard?
Yep.
It's very tempting to me. But I ended up passing on the game, and here's why. This is the more I watch Ole Miss, this is one of Beard's worst defensive teams. I think this is one of his lowest IQ in terms of basketball IQ teams. And if you can't defend at a high level, you're going to have problems against Auburn, and the game could get away from you. So I would say of the big dogs tonight, Ole Miss is the one I gave the most consideration to, but did decide to pass on the Rebels too.
All right, there you go. You can get follow Matt on X as well, at Matt Youmans 24/7, and he hosts VSiN Primetime 4 nights a week here for 4 hours following us here on the network. Matt, thanks for the time as always. Best of luck tonight.
Hey, thanks. Can't wait to do shots with Paul Howard.
Let's do it. Line it up.
I think it's going to be happening sooner than you think.
Yep, incredible response. Thank you, guys. We owe you big time. Can't wait to hang with you.
Maybe if you want to request like a date that's not yet there, put that as part of the email because Pauly and I are basically here all year long.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Yep. I told them. It's rock and roll. It's the best pool in the world. We'll hang with Sydney as well. That's on my Instagram. You could serve breakfast on her ass.
In Pocket plays up next, and we have some breaking news in the NFL, and I think this is awesome.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, 3-0 last night. That's 5 in a row. San Diego State, money line, ice cream against New Mexico. Oilers, Lightning, first period over. Edmonton's on a 13-2 overrun in the first period. Dallas, Columbus, goal in the first 10. Dallas is on a 15-2 run. Goal in the first 10. Columbus scored 30 seconds into the game. Let's go with the pending. We already have Boise State. It's up to 4.5 now tonight against Utah State at home, and a good one. college hoops. And in hockey, adding the LA Kings to win in regulation, they have won 5 of 6, taking on the reeling Vancouver Canucks. Are they going to make the playoffs? I mean, if you can't hold off Utah or Calgary, come on. Great story last year, got in, won a series. Come on. Kings were great in the third period, taking out the Knights. I'll take the Kings at home in regulation to beat Vancouver, who continues this road trip. There you go.
All right, nice job last night. R.J. Barrett, over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That was the winner, as was Derek White in the same game, over 23.5. Keldon Johnson, no good. That was a loser, over 19.5. He only had 2 quick fouls, only played 7 minutes in the first half, and at that point only had 5 combined PRAs, and it was kind of dead on arrival. He made a late run in the fourth quarter, but came up short, finished with 15 overall. Moving on to tonight's plays that we have. Celtics Pistons over 226. News in this game, no Jaylen Brown. He's out. Porzingis is going to play, though. Pistons have been playing helter-skelter basketball here.
Great ball, period.
Yeah, right,
7 in a
overall.
row. I can't get enough of that. 32 wins, 31 combined the last 2 years. Great story.
Yep. So one of the reasons why I'm on Oklahoma tonight, +3. Kentucky, there's no shame in these losses, but here are Kentucky's losses on the road. They lost at Clemson, Georgia, Vandy, Bama, Texas, Ole Miss. Really good teams there for the most part, right? But Oklahoma's only 4-10 in the SEC, and they're on the fringe right now making the tournament. I'm taking the Sooners tonight +3, and then I know Arkansas is without Thero tonight, but I expect other players to step up in his spot.
Huge bubble game.
Oh, yeah. So they are down to minus. I'm buying low now on this team. Money coming in on Texas. I'm going the other way. I'm playing Arkansas -140 on the money line against Texas.
Ooh, pig suey. Let's get it. Betting on sports, why not try the races? First Bet lets you wager on hundreds of horse races every day from top tracks across the U.S. and around the world. Sign up firstbet.com, promo code VSIN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days. Up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today. Don't forget about the ponies.
Yeah. Here, breaking news in the NBA before we get to breaking news in the National Football League. Karl Anthony Towns is out tonight for the Knicks. This number was 10. I think I saw it reach 10.5 at some spots earlier today. He's certainly worth something to the number. He is now down to 9. In fact, I see an 8.5 out there as well.
3-point move on the total. Yep.
He's big. He's big for that for sure.
Yep. Great score. Can't guard you. Down to 227.
Yep. Here is the breaking news in the NFL. NFL on Fox. Starting next season, the league is expected to replace first down chains with the Hawkeye virtual measurement system. NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent told reporters today.
Why is it a result? Because it screws the Buffalo Bills, and then they fix it the next year. Overtime rule, and then that with the Allen on 4th and 1.
Well, if we're all going to be honest, it's the chain gang. And I did the chain gang for a little bit when I was younger, like in middle school, right? I did that.
Okay.
And it was fun for a year when I did it with my buddies for like high school games. This thing should have been gone 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Technology, if you want to throw that in, it could have been gone probably like in the mid-90s, early 90s, maybe even earlier than that. But finally, I'm not going to complain, finally, they made this move, right? Like the NFL needs to tinker with a bunch of different things. This has been one of them on the list to cross off for a long time. So they did it, and I think it's cause for celebration. If you have the technology that's going to be out there to help these old men who are out there trying to keep up with it, and it's all, I used to have 20/15 vision. It didn't matter. I could this happened before. I could walk into a sports book in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
From 300 feet away, I could read every single number off the board. People who I was with did not believe me. That was when I was much younger. Now I'm in my upper 40s. I'm blind as a bat up close. Can't see anything, right? So have to wear glasses. I've had to have them for a couple of years. Like that and the timing, you get older anyway, trying to spot where the ball's at. These players are much faster than you are. How has that ever been logical, Pauly? So that's one thing. I'd like to see him replace. What did you hear about overtime?
They are thinking about changing the overtime just like the playoffs. Regular season, both teams get the ball.
I'm in. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can we mess with the pass interference? That's my number one on my list, is that the spot foul has to be eliminated from the game. That's probably wishful thinking. Even Mike Pereira,
that's your big boy,
who's been on the show for several years, hates it, and he screams at the league like every offseason. Scream might be an exaggeration, but he rants at it like every single year, and they won't listen. Nope, 48-yard pass, don't know if it's catchable or not. That's a first down at the 8-yard line now. Pass interference. Like, how? It's the dumbest rule in sports. In that sport, anyway. But they're showing they're being a little progressive as of today.
I would get rid of PI, spot foul, and number 2, you do not get a home playoff game just because you win your division.
Good. I'm in.
That's stupid.
Remember the NBA used to be like that.
Yeah. That's one thing Silver got right. Changing that stuff.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Where are we at now?
Maryland's underway right now. And
Georgetown's up 4 on UConn.
Okay. The Maryland-Michigan State game, first half, midway through, Sparty, low-scoring game. Sparty leads Maryland 11-10. That had a total around 150.
It's like the Michigan-Nebraska game. Had the same total. It was played in the 40s.
And how many chances did Nebraska have to win that game, by the way? Left and right. So right now, your in-play number, Maryland's still at 3.5. The total has dropped 15 points. It's 135.5. Do they get hot now? Do they start to actually make? Let me get the box score for you. In this Michigan State game, team stats: Michigan State. Well, neither team has hit a 3 so far. Sparty 4 of 13 from the field. Maryland 3 of 10. So they are each shooting 30% basically in this game. You want to hop in on the over right now, or is this going to be a dead game like the Michigan-Nebraska spot?
Yeah, I could see that. I don't want to hop in on the over. No.
UConn in play down 4. They're 9.5. The money line now, they're minus 560. I don't know. I can't. I know they were laying, 13, I think, here. Now 9.5. I just don't. They're not very good. The guy struck lightning in a bottle, had incredible talent. It all meshed together at the same exact time. Did a brilliant job coaching, and they won back-to-back national titles. This year, I keep saying, they're going to be dangerous on the 8-9 line. Maybe I'm dead wrong on that.
Yeah.
And maybe they're one and done, by the way.
That could be. And I think a lot of people are rooting for that to happen.
I think so, too.
He is unbearable. He's a great coach, but he is tough to take. But you're right about how many great 8-9 matchups we could have come tournament time. So that's what I'm waiting for, too. Let's fast forward. Let's get to next week. And let's also, once we're done with the regular season, see how funky some of these brackets are going to be. Is it the Southland? You get both the top 2 seeds get a bye into the semis?
Yeah, it's one of those conferences where
right.
They will be playing potentially here teams that have won already 4 games in 4 days or 5 games in 5 days. Oh. Nope, they're just going to be sitting there waiting in the weeds.
Can you imagine someone gets hot in the ACC or the Big 12?
It turns into a bid thief, you mean? Or how many games you have to play?
You're trying to win 5 games in 5 nights. What that could be. These things have to start on Tuesday now. Maybe even earlier, so many teams.
I'm glad you brought up the ACC. Mm-hmm. Aaron Moore, who is a VSiN contributor, he's in the Friday Night Basketball Contest. He was listening to the show on Monday, and he heard what Jerry Palm had to say. And that is Duke probably needs to go out there and win impressively in every single game because the conference is so bad. So he laid 22.5 with Miami. They're going to be laying monster numbers against whoever they play. Now, Proctor's going to be fine. He was injured last night, only a bone bruise, I believe, is what the report said. But is that a thing that we should be paying attention to maybe a little bit more? So they're going to be laying 12, 13, 14 points, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
They know inside that they have to probably blow. Maybe they can't suffer a really embarrassing loss to a bad team or a fringe team because that could knock them down from a 1 seed.
Yeah, it's a good angle. I'm with it. Sounds good. Tim Murray and Von Tobel coming up next. VSiN primetime game of the night. Zach Cohen's on. Chris Powers, John Meltler. You got golf, NBA, college football, and the in-play stuff. And tonight, cashing out with Joe, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then 7 a.m., wake up, VSiN by the books, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Sparty now up 13-10, 10 minutes to play in that first half. A low-scoring affair in College Station. Good luck with your bets tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.